Here's Boardwalk Empire, Season 4, Episode 2, titled Resignation. The introduction to Dr. Valentine, played by Jeffrey Wright, kind of a Bobby Cavanaugh Season 3 kind of character, where he's going to come in, steal a lot of scenes, perhaps get an Emmy nomination, and be the one of the main antagonists of the season. Who knows if he's going to last the season or not. Dr. Valentine wants to be the king. He wants to be the king of the criminal enterprise. So the Jewish, Italian, Irish game of mobsters has always been the prominent trifecta. And in Chalky's, we were learning that Chalky, he's part of the game, but he's not the game, and that's what Dr. Valentine keeps saying. There's a difference between being a peasant who pretends to be a king than an actual king, and Dr. Valentine wants to be the king. He wants to get the African Americans into the organized crime ring, and it's curious what's going to happen in the next few years. Like we can study the history of this kind of faction, this time of organized crime. We do know that the people who end in vowels generally are going to be the kings of organized crime in the future. But in the 1920s, it wasn't really like that. Like the Italians were just on the same plane as the Jewish mafia and the Irish mafia, and now the African Americans are trying to get. So that's what this sort of season is trying to tell us plot wise. Here's a man who understands all the turning the weaknesses into strengths, turning situations into his power. And this is what this character is going to be doing. He takes his advantage of being an African American, and he uses that as his strength in the 1920s. Agent Knox, we're learning the person who was introduced in the first episode, who we think is going to be the agent who's going to be helping out the organized crime. We understand he works for J. Edgar, so J. Edgar Hoover is getting in there. So can you believe that J. Edgar lasts like 50 years as this as the FBI head? So he starts in the 1920s, and we're learning what J. Edgar believes and his ideals are, and how powerful organized crime is. So Van Alden, we get Van Alden's back, who's always the entertaining character. He's living in Chicago. He needs some money. He's got his kids now, so we're gonna learn about Van Alden through the years as well. Nucky's longtime valet Eddie wants a promotion, and he just wants to be a middleman instead of a peasant. So basically, one of the themes of this episode is understanding your place in the hierarchy of this society. So Dr. Valentine wants to be the king, and he understands that Chalky is not the king, and he's playing the president role. And you're watching all these people trying to move up the ranks, so to speak. And now here you have Eddie, who is tired of like making Nucky's coffee in the morning and being his valet. He wants to be a middleman. So this is what this episode's about. That's my review. 2 cents.